Well, can't necessarily blame them for not wanting him at the time.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I mean, it just didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to it's tough to make switches like that. Like it's oh, my mic is all there. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, I like that a little bit better. It's always hard to change actors like in the middle of the show going on and stuff like that, and writing people out all of a sudden always sucks. Like the actor could be leaving for the absolute best reason to get rid of someone, and right. You're still gonna be like, fuck my story. You know what's gonna happen here. So
tell me about it, man. I've watched countless seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and every so often I'm like, fuck this show. And Shonda Rhimes, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. And then I'm like, but then I'm gonna watch it though.
Yeah. God, what's that? Criminal Minds. The Hutch. He, went off. The actor went off. I guess assaulted someone on set, or verbally or physically or whatever it was, and he was gone real fast, and it was hard to get rid of that character so quickly like that. So have you ever wondered like what it is that when actors, because he's not the only one you've ever heard of having like meltdowns on set or something. We've heard about Bale, we've heard about Rowe, we've heard about Gibson and things like, what is it like? You almost set your own schedule, at least when you want to work when you're a top tier creator. You basically choose the project you want to do, work for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe do some ADR a few weeks later, maybe some reshoots a few weeks later after that, and depending on who you are, you're done. Why get so angry?
Yeah, actually, not because I got it like that in any way, but I actually kind of understand probably their point of view, just because of the fact that they're not just working on that one movie. A lot of times they also have producer credits.
Oh yeah,
they're working on multiple films. They're trying to lock in other deals. They sometimes have endorsements. They have commercials. They have appearances.
Oh yeah, as oversimplifying things.
So their schedules probably because like one person who obviously I love wrestling and followed Dwayne Johnson forever.
Oh.
His day starts at like 3 a.m. and ends at like.
How does he live?
I'm not sure how he's alive.
Exactly.
But point is, when you're on set, and some people have one job, you have one job to do this and that. I can see where sometimes maybe you can lose your cool. Like, dude, like I'm doing all of this, and you can't even hold this damn light right or something.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, is it right? No, I'm not giving them excuses, but I'm all I'm saying is I understand.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, oversimplifying, and like I said, only a few people can really not only can but do only one or two things a year or at a time, and you're right. It's not right to blow up at anybody, but their job is just like any other job. We have to we all have the stresses of our businesses, and I don't know what it is, but just because my camera's here, I want your picture there, so that way I'm kind of like looking in the general direction. um, when it comes to making movies, and not even just like now with the extra virus stuff. And good morning, everyone. By the way, welcome to LR Mornings today with Kyle and
Manny.
And the amount of work that goes into everything before an actor can even set their foot on stage is absolutely insane. And that's one of the one of the reasons why movies keep getting bigger is we as a society have developed our tech to a point where we have more time to be creative, and so now we've got lots more craftsmen and artists and things like that are able to take things that stayed the same for quite a while and now innovate them and change them and apply them into new things, and they're finding their way into Hollywood, and that includes digital crap like the Stagecraft stages that the Mandalorian uses, and they're building four more. I think the UK will have two total. I think there'll be like two in the US, one in Australia, and I think one in Asia somewhere. I might have some things confused, but that technology alone, and looking at what they did with like Ready Player One. Did you by chance see the making of or any of the behind the scenes stuff on that?
No, I did not. I didn't even know there was a behind the scene on it.
Oh, for it's I haven't checked if HBO Max does extras like Disney Plus, but Ready Player One's on there. So check and see. But the making of and all the special effects, because it's a Spielberg movie, was one of the coolest documentary. Like, even if you don't like the film, the behind the scenes stuff's amazing. The Oasis was fully built, and it's a digital soundstage. And besides the actors doing the mocap and the special rooms and stuff, the cameras would display them in world in the Oasis for Spielberg or the director of photography and all that to view. But at any time, Spielberg can legitimately put on this headset and go and pick things up and move them around, ask, mark things and ask like, hey, can we get more depth here? Let's move this Firefly, the Serenity ship. Let's move it further over the like. It was insane what he could literally do with like a physical stage. And then you combine that with Stagecraft, man. Are we going to see a time where the big sound stage goes away for good? The indoor ones, at least.
I don't know. It's tough to say because different filmmakers have different styles of what they like to do, they want to do. I mean, some of them still like to go film and with certain types of film. Some like to stay practical. Some like to go all digital. So like it's an interesting question because it just all depends on the filmmaker's vision. They want to make it maybe make it a little gritty. They want to not necessarily have that realism, whatever, because they're paying an homage to an 80s movie or something. So it's it's crazy where we are because you talk about Spielberg, and I did watch the behind the scenes on the Mandalorian where
Mhm.
they're like, let's make those mountains a little bit, a
Mhm.
little taller or whatever. And it's like, what? And then in real time, there's a
Mm.
guy with like a Photoshop, and you can see the mountains change, and that's ridiculous. But it makes it so that you can make these um shows,
Mhm.
because your budget, well, obviously there's an initial budget that is through the roof, right? Because
Yes.
you have to build these sound stages, these new, these new
Stagecraft
stages.
machines, yeah.
And but overall it's going to allow Disney to be able to make uh more series without that enormous cost of being on location so much.
Yeah. I definitely agree. You're always going to have your Robert Rodriguez's that build a soundstage in their backyard and make movies there. um uh you'll always have those, but I think the studios are really in love with this tech, and I can see Disney um definitely leasing those stagecraft machines out at a decent price, but like you said, they got a lot of them built so they could make all of their Disney Plus content, Star Wars and Marvel and all sorts of stuff. Um, the cool thing about the stagecraft is the amount of practical stuff you can use with it, and how much it's used, like you said, mostly location stuff, and that ability to track do tracking shots where it used to be part of the speeder bike on this rod bouncing up and down in front of a green screen, and now your tracking shot is the speeder, with what it needs to be digitally hovering, and the screen moves, and it's awesome. And the only thing I can think of is can I play video games on it one day?
That's a lot. You already have the headset for the virtual reality, which is probably as
Yeah.
close as you're gonna get to something like that. Because even now, when you play, like I play a lot of Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
they say don't play on a big screen because
Yeah.
you cannot handle it all, and you're not going to be able to
Mm-mm.
to concentrate on all specifics, and it's actually fairly true.
Yep.
I found that a bit surprising.
27 inch is like a standard in PC world for like a reason.
So yeah, but going back to I watch these guys on YouTube called Corridor Crew.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have like they um they're digital effects artists, and they react to different uh uh effects, and sometimes they review different things. And one of the things they were talking about is some of the shots that they have used on these stages. And one of the new advances that and then make them so great. And it's these little things, which is why I like watching them, just because they point out details that sometimes you, as general audience, that you might miss. Is that the the lighting and the shadows that come back to the actor's face, they make more sense. And it's not just color. It's the appropriate color. It's the appropriate tone of green. It's the appropriate shade of orange that's hitting the actor back, instead of having to add that in post, because there is no shadow, because it's just a green
Right.
screen. Also, the green screen, because it's green on your original shot, it's going to, especially if you have a reflective surface, it's going to reflect green. So there's a lot more post that you have to do
Mm-hmm.
on a green screen, even though you're just adding an image in the back, because your practical elements are reacting to that green, not the actual um, set location and things like that. Plus, for Star Wars, it makes so much sense, because if you think about it, and a lot of the Star Wars sets are really open world, a lot of desert lands, a lot of not much going on in the background, just
Yeah.
what is,
Just
you
because
know.
George Lucas was just so imaginative. I'm just joking. He was, guys. It's okay.
Well, I mean, he was imaginative enough to release his movie, even though most of his buddies were like, "Do not do that. Do not release A New Hope."
Yeah, don't please.
So yeah, but I think it's great. I think it's wonderful technology. I can't believe that's where we are now,
Yeah,
where you can like almost immerse yourself in a world
and
and then add a rock or two.
this is the cool thing. You know, Stagecraft craft itself has been shown doing Unreal Engine things in real time. Unreal 4, I believe it was, in real time changes and all sorts of really cool stuff. There are, the source engine, for example, is open. You can go grab source, play around with it, build a game. Look at the crew that basically redid Half-Life 1 and just called it Black Mesa, and they're all indie developers, worked years using the updated source engine and all the updated graphics from Portal 2 and Half-Life 2 and all that to recreate the original Half-Life. And I can't help but start to think that the digital Robert Rodriguez, who has not a Stagecraft machine, but they know how to use that type of rendering software, whether it's Unreal or Source or something like that. But they have enough high end projectors, or even now with curved screens, OLED screens, and like that. I can see people making almost homemade Stagecraft machines, can't you?
Yeah, it's all possible. I mean, all you need is the money. Sometimes that's the hardest part. But if you have a group of people sometimes that want to come together and put that together as far as buying it, putting some dollars together, it's all possible, man. It's just the almighty dollar of being able to afford it. And
Yeah, but the cool thing about that is that opens up a whole
Mhm.
nother realm to indie filmmakers that they didn't have before.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Just I know that a lot of times with indie filmmakers, budget is a huge deal. So
Yeah.
if they can if they can secure something like that to work with,
Mm-hmm.
it might be an initial investment that might hurt them financially for a little bit, but I think in the long run it'd be a great idea, especially if they share it with each other, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of maybe the kind of like you were saying, Disney rents it out, maybe one of them rents it out, or I mean, it's a production company that's what they do. They rent these stages out to
Mm-hmm.
indie filmmakers, maybe at not the craziest cost as somebody else. So yeah, yeah. I mean, you just think about how far our phone cameras have come,
Oh
and how
yeah.
you can now pretty much, you can almost, well, I mean, Apple's always talking about how oh, this movie, the short film was shot with an iPhone or whatever. But you think of that quality and you think what we had before, so you kind of makes you wonder what they're working with in Hollywood. Well, we know what they're working with, the kind of things that they're working with, but this is what the everyday person has in hand with a little bit more investment. What do filmmakers have? So um it's the quality of films definitely is going up as years go by, and then so much so that some filmmakers are like, no, we actually shot this on 35 millimeter
Yeah.
because we like that grittiness, or we shot it out with this kind of camera because we didn't want it to be so polished. Or so it's all in the eyes, it's all in the vision of the filmmaker and what they want.
Yeah. I was
Because
gonna ask. because I'm not a connoisseur by any chance. I'm not I don't have, I got ringing in the ear from being blown up, and but I still have a good eye and a good ear for quality. You know, I don't like streaming stuff because that stuff's coming in compressed. I'd rather watch my spectacle film on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray, right? Uncompressed audio, uncompressed video. But a lot of people don't really have that big of an eye or an ear for that stuff, and it kind of sucks every now and then you see them get taken advantage of in stores because of that, and or people are in that mentality of but buying the top of the line no matter what, because that must be the best. But it's like, okay, you just spent $4,000 on an OLED TV, but what do? Oh, I watch, you know, the game channel, Ghost Hunters, and it's like, why'd you buy it that then, dude? Like, hold on there. The great thing about technology though is when you're able to research it and have someone help you out, you can get exactly what you need, usually without extra bells and whistles at a much cheaper price. And that's why I like trying to talk a little bit about tech here on LR Mornings, and eventually work our way into some, you know, pieces of technology and reviews and things like that. But in movie and television, we've seen, like you said, the digital revolution, Lucas's prequels, Matrix, things like that. And then you get back to the people that go with the grittier stuff, right? And I want to know, artists, they get to, they're creating, it's their vision. But as where I kind of got distracted and went off on that tangent with hearing and stuff like that, I always get kind of upset at people that are vinyl obsessed, and I'm like, do you understand what you do you understand what you're saying? What the things that you think you're hearing that are like pure or whatever actually aren't pure. I mean, that's actually
I know I have a lot of friends who collect
that's
vinyls,
not
and
supposed to be there.
And it's
and
been,
this
I don't know, maybe I just didn't pay attention.
About that.
But
this lossless audio over here, this digital file is actually
into vinyl,
a more pure
collecting them, picking them up,
sound than what you got in your hands.
I mean, it's just a different form to enjoy your media, and I mean, I can see it because there is something.
Do consumers
about going all digital that's kind of
when they're
you lose
type
touch,
of picky when a consumer goes,
and that's
I don't want to watch this movie because
you go
it's digital or this TV show.
You don't enjoy the artwork.
It's too much
with
like
the same
the consumers
it's
won't
too polished
move
on digital. You don't get the page feel. You don't get
different versus the artist to you in any way.
There's a lot there. I mean, then there's and here's another perfect example, which is kind of annoying, but casinos, for example, they've gone all digital with their machines. Where's the fun in having a machine drop a load of coins, you know, or when kids go to Chuck E. Cheese or things like that. Where is the joy of having a little cup full of coins for you to put in the machine? Everything's on a damn card. And you know, you lose part of it. It's part of the enjoyment of having so much of feeling something in your hand. So I can honestly understand why there is a hesitancy about digital, because yes, it does it save the the business or the company more money? Of course it does, because you're not spending so much on different things, the artist and everything, But so yeah, I can honestly see why people are hesitant with digital, because you lose part of the experience overall, which in the end, of course, is to enjoy a game, is to enjoy a song, a movie, but you've lost the whole part of enjoying a film. I mean, there's on Netflix right now. There's a there's a documentary about the last
on the
blockbuster
card now.
And you have several
your tickets, your
different
coins,
celebrities going on there talking about their experiences, and how on Friday nights they'd go with their significant others, with their mom and dad. It was a thing. They'd go food, or it was a date. Or one of my favorite stories they had was this one of the guys was talking about how we would take somebody they were dating for the first few times, and they would almost
the
use it as kind of
all the builders,
audition to see where
equipment and
what
stuff.
section of films was she going to, and that was almost like a make or break deal. So like, is it more convenient now to have Netflix and all that stuff, Redbox sometimes? Yeah. But you lose part of it, and you don't, and it's something that obviously the younger generation, here I am sounding old, doesn't understand about it, because it's an experience. It's fun, different.
Yes. Test. Yeah. they have they haven't had as much tangible. My son was born with a screen in front of his face, quite literally in the delivery room, freaking 45-inch flat screen TV, and um he knows books. My wife and I come from a reading family, where reading was always encouraged and sometimes forced. But we love books. He likes books and comics, man. You're right. That tangible feel. Yes. When I discover a series that I'm really far behind on, I'll use the cheaper digital trades to catch up. From that point forward, I'm physical. If I'm only one or two trades behind, I'll get the physical trade paperbacks. No problem. The younger generation, they're unfortunately, and it's not their fault that they are kind of the problem here, as you're watching digital take over and tangible physical become less and less, as they don't use their purchasing power the way we do. And it's a goes back to one of those things that you and I always say whenever we talk about comics. I love that feel of that page, the smell of the ink, and all of that is just awesome. Even the smell of old comics and old long boxes is just awesome. I love it. And you don't get that with digital, but the youth don't necessarily care about it. So those of us that do, get to your local comic bookshop or their webpage and buy some books. And the youth, I would say, guys, give tangible books a shot. If you're not big on it, go try it out. It's kind of, I don't know, I always get a little bit of joy of getting my books, bagging and boarding if they're not already done in a mail order or something, putting them in their proper long box. I've got my Marvel, my indie books, my, old stuff from like 90s. And it's one of those cool things about the hobby, right? About the process of collecting.
Yeah, it's all part of it. I mean, you remember having a tower of CDs also with your
yes
with your favorite bands. Going to Tower Records was a big deal.
Mom's Columbia house, was it?
House, yeah. So yeah, and it's a missed opportunity for social interactions, face to face, because a lot of times when you go to these places, you ask for help, you ask for recommendations, you you sometimes meet people who are also into the same things. You learn about events going on. I know that, like, at Raspberry and the Tower Records, they had obviously posters of upcoming shows or upcoming events. So it does, because you can buy it all now at home, with technology. It cuts you off a little bit socially, and it makes
in
you
an
more,
aspect.
yeah, and it makes you a little bit more of an introvert. I mean, I get it. We've been in a pandemic, and it has changed things to where it's made it, in my opinion, even worse. Now I can go on my Target app and pick everything I need and just get to the store, and they're gonna put it in my trunk
at no extra cost.
Yep, and that is super convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But you lose maybe running into somebody, which actually sometimes is not the greatest thing ever. Let's be honest. But
sometimes it is.
Yeah, it's I think it's just part of society that, well, here's the thing. I wanted to try to plug this in somewhere, but we live in a society now where we're not talking to each other, man. We're just sending DMs and text messages. I mean, even now, if you think about it, how annoyed sometimes are you when you actually get a phone call?
Me personally, I'm not. I'm stuck there in that my first cell phone was in 03. I bought it with my own money on my own plan after basic training, and I hate paragraph text messaging. Like, send me, if it's more than a couple sentences, call me. And my sister, 3 years younger, she's the exact she hates her phone ringing. Like, don't call me, text me. So yeah. I know what you're talking about. Definitely. I know people like that.
Yeah, there's times where I'll start text. You know what? I'm gonna call. I'm not writing this out. This is too long. So no, and then there's people who chain text mail, and it's just like text. And it's like, oh, it's this whole book.
Like they talk.
yeah. But it's the way. And it's not, like you were saying earlier, it's not anyone's fault. It's just the advancement of technology that supposedly has made our life easier as we enter Wall-E territory.
That's what I was thinking is wrong. They weren't that far off, and while at least here on Earth under gravity, the majority of us should still get some sort of exercise as we move around the house, at least. But yeah, you're right about the going out and to stick with our entertainment world here at LRM. We're losing one of the greatest social events and structures and centers there is, and that's the theater. And not just the digital silver screen, also like theater plays, like stage theater, all of that stuff's taking a big hit, and a lot of them go under, and it all comes back down to us though. In the late 90s, music piracy through the roof, right? Napster, LimeWire, BearShare. I can show my tech age. I know what news groups and hotline are. So some people that might know those old peer-to-peer and FTP and all that piracy itself still exists, and some people, I got it, that's the only way you're going to be able to get everything, so you pick and choose maybe, but all of that ends up adding up, and with theaters closing, what you're going to see is, I think, a move to basically everyone's an Alamo Draft House or cinema cafe, where they got the dinner brought to you and stuff. That's what they call it here. I don't know if there's other names for them, but everything's going to become a premium theater, basically, right? And it's going to get to where a lot of average Americans are only going to be able to see a couple of movies a year, while those that can afford, the premium experience will get to do it more. And that, again, is like, I like premium theater experiences, but taking that away, that option, even though people aren't using it as much, things come in cycles. People get into fads and trends from the past, decades after they disappear. Why can't traditional, just all of us in games style in a theater come back?
Yeah, I mean, I know that one of our local theaters is, excuse me, one of our local theaters is upgrading to, they have a 4D room. They have this, this crazy L something room where it immerses you all the way around. They have IMAX theaters. They have this, all to be able to raise the price on ticket sales. But yeah, it's what you're saying. It's becoming so ridiculous now that it's becoming more for the privileged and not for your average American. Because if you're taking, I mean, and people do it differently, because there's some people who are completely satisfied with going to the movie, and that's it. You just pay for your ticket,
Mm-hmm.
and you go watch the movie. There's other people that, for them, it's about the theater experience and having the popcorn and maybe the sweaty hot dog and and a big giant soda or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or now in this case a drink. And that adds up. I mean, after tickets and after all that, you're looking about 60-80 bucks, around there. And that's just for two people.
Yeah.
So
Not counting the babysitter you might be paying.
right. And then also you have, but it's going to come down to also studios and working with theaters. That's really where you're going to see how committed studios are to the theater experience, because going forward, how much of the revenue split of box office are you willing to give back now to theaters so that they can get back on their feet? I mean, not talking this. I'm even not talking about the AMCs or the Regals or whatever.
I know.
But your local, like here, I live in Madera, so our local theater that's ran by a local family who gives back to our community. They run the drive-in, they run the theater. What kind of break are you willing to give them, at least for the next year?
None.
In order to be able to get back on your feet, because the average American is going to want to go back to watch movies as soon as everything opens. That's a fact. So and I know that most of theaters' revenues is through concessions because of the fact that the split is so bad
Mm-hmm.
that you don't really make money off of the films.
Mm-mm.
So it comes down to what are the studios like, especially Disney, because their agreements for films is ridiculous. What are you guys willing to do for these places in order to help them get back on their feet to show your movies?
Right. I
And
I think it's all gonna go worse in a way. We're gonna have the studios buying the theaters and running their own theater chains.
I completely see Amazon doing that, for example, and Disney, of course, because Disney
Mm-hmm.
buys everything. So yeah, it would be very, very sad to see, and I know that the previous administration had lifted a couple of regulations that stopped that before, and it was a big deal that we covered for a few days. And yeah, um it's funny because you see everyone talking about how they want to help each other and they want to get back on their feet, but are they really going to do that, or are they going to realize that we all have streaming services now, and we can
Mm-hmm.
take our ball and we're going to take our ball home because we're going to play against the wall because we don't have to share it now.
Yeah. Well, look at um how many studios and theaters have already made shortened exclusive theater time contracts. We had already shrunk. I always talk about the one that sticks in my mind the most waiting for was Jurassic Park. Like waiting for that to hit home video from the time it hit theaters, I think was a year, maybe even over a year, before we finally got our beautiful black box red Jurassic Park logo. You had the VHS, I had the VHS. It's gorgeous, and he's probably fixing to grab the damn thing. Maybe I don't know. No, but it was yep, there it is.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Beautiful. I wore the fuck out of mine. It's such a great movie.
It's
And
funny. I found this for $1 at a
wow,
Goodwill, and it was such in good condition. There was
it
no way I would
is.
buy it.
Yeah, I'd buy. I don't own a VHS anymore. I'd buy it. Oh yeah, I'd buy it and just display it. Yeah.
Exactly why I have it.
That has over time gotten shorter and shorter and shorter to where before the pandemic we were averaging 3 to 4 months from the theater date to your digital release date, and then usually 2 maybe 3 weeks after that your full physical home media release. And so you already had theater, but you could see when you're tracking numbers before Box Office Mojo just guys that used to love it and think like it's better on the premium side. It's not. It's still not. We have access to IMDb's version of Box Office. It's still not great, but anywho, back when we used to track that, movies used to make money, over time. It was like an arc. It wasn't like a straight shot up, and now we just watch it crash over 2-3 weeks. You used to see 20% drops week over week over week. Now it's like a 50% drop even for a Marvel movie is not a big deal. And back in the day, you'd be like 50%. You lost 50% week for week. Oh my! And it's so different. So even theaters had to basically say we can't keep them in house long enough. Nobody's watching them. So that deal changes, and then you get the streaming generation, the streaming wars, all these studios with their own, and people start being willing to wait those 3 and 4 months, and then here comes the coronavirus and HBO Max and Disney Premier Access, and people are now very comfortable watching a AAA title on their TV.
Yep, absolutely. I know that there's a lot of movies that I won't go to theaters to watch, but at the same time, things will be a little different going forward because of the fact that, like for example, my girlfriend, she is 100%. I want to watch every movie in the theater, which is why she owned a Regal card.
Yeah,
and it allowed her to watch every movie in the theater. And let's be honest, there's some movies that you will never think of watching in the theater, but because they're not as high profile. But
I used to.
Yeah,
I did. And I went and saw Waterboy and Big Daddy in theaters. I can't remember the last non-family, like Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a comedy, but it's a family thing. Yeah. You know, I can't remember the last comedy I went and saw in theaters.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times you save your theater experience for the Marvel movies, the DC movies, the big time action flicks. Like example, a Godzilla versus Kong movie should be enjoyed in theaters.
I'm going to the theater to see that next week.
So, yeah, that and that's that because I know that Geek got to see it and he had posted on his Instagram that it is an eyegasm that needs to be enjoyed on a bigger screen. And that's from coming from him, that's saying a lot.
Yes,
he's very particular about the way he watches his films, and so if he says go watch it on a bigger screen, I'm probably gonna go to the drive-in to watch it on a bigger screen.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. By the way, if Kong wins that match, I'm done, man. There's no way Kong should be beating Godzilla. He has no business even being in the same ballpark as he is. And yeah, no, they've completely nerfed Godzilla in order to make it so that Kong is a match. But there's no way that the guy who just beat King Ghidorah and Rowan,
I agree,
is going to not defeat an ape that doesn't have any abilities other than he's strong.
The agility is what Kong has. His ability to swing around, because he can get around Godzilla faster than Godzilla can turn. Especially
Godzilla's got that.
I know.
Haymaker.
He's got to get that shot.
Haymaker. He's got to get that one shot, that he's gone.
It should be done. But anyway, we've already seen Kong deflect it with a fucking axe, and you're like, no.
I've already predicted that Kong's going to pin down Godzilla, and he's going to say Martha, and then they're going to fight Mecha Godzilla. So, yeah.
Why did you say that name?
So, that's usually my prediction now for most.
Try to work the Martha joke in there
when they're going to fight. That's they need to. I forget his name. They need to bring him back and just let him say, "Let them fight."
Oh, what was that? Oh yeah. What Watanabe said it in the first film, right? When Zilla's gonna face off the Mutos. Yeah.
No, so anyway, back to the original point. I went off track. I'm looking forward to going back to theaters. You're looking forward to going back to theaters. It's just a matter of, can the industry still survive? I think that in the long run, I don't like saying this, but I think we're going to see less theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's going to be less locally owned theaters.
Yes,
because they can't get bailed out. They can't get help from anyone. And I don't think I think as much as I would like to think I'm positive and to think like, yeah, they're gonna do the right thing. No, studios are not going to help them out, and they're gonna raise their premium rates.
Yeah,
and make it harder to screen a movie, and then say, yeah, you're gonna put it on for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and that's our window.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Like, what are you kidding me? So, yeah, it's
There's I don't want to get too political on it, but just to speak on human generosity out there. A lot of people will talk about, you know, taxes, and you'll have certain celebrities or wealthy business people say, you know, hey, tax me more. You know, I want to be taxed more. And there's a dirty little secret that they're not saying, and that's anyone can at any time write a check and donate to the U.S. Treasury. So basically, directly giving directly giving additional tax money instead of waiting on a law to take it from you. If you're so willing to give it now, you're telling Congress, pass a law to take more money from me. I want you to do it, but you can actually do what you're asking for now. You yourself can do it. Now cut the check. Now cut the check, Mackie. Cut your check now and do it. So it doesn't happen. No, none of them do. No celebrity, no business owner, not left, not right, no one, not in America, nowhere. So I am a near laissez-faire free market guy. I love competition because that's how we get to here. You know, the DoD might start something in DARPA, but when the private market finally gets it, it becomes this, you know? So it's a double-edged sword. Like so many things in life.
I know, man. But hey, man, I'm also on the same boat. If you made your money, keep your money.
Yeah.
I don't have a right to tell you how to spend your money, because I know if I made money, I don't want nobody telling me how to spend my money.
Right. So, and that's and like I said, I didn't want to make it like a right. That's why I didn't name any names that people could take it for what they want. But that's just an example of even the people out there saying the right thing, because you won't necessarily hear Bob Chapek talk about, you know, helping theaters, right? But you will hear certain politicians and some businesses talk about helping and doing this, and then it's like you could do it and you're not. So think about the people that don't even give lip service what they're capable of. And I know the idea of a Disney theater sounds fun.
Oh, that would just destroy everyone.
But it's gonna destroy so much.
Mm-hmm.
So much. It's such a weird thing. But it's cool. Great talk today. I kind of got my list of all of our segments for the show as we're changing over, and I got some names to play with. But next Tuesday, be prepared for some unpopular opinions, because we're gonna have a segment on that, and that'll become a fairly regular thing on Tuesdays, and on unpopular opinions segment. So I'm looking forward to that. How do you guys find all that? Go to LRMonline.com every single day for all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Check out the YouTube channel where you're watching this video at, and hit that red subscribe bell or button. Hit the bell as well, so you can be notified when all of our content goes up, because besides the podcast, there's a crap ton of celebrity interviews, creator interviews. Go check all of those out. A-listers, we've had Jen Schaefer from WandaVision. We've had Deborah Snyder from Snyder's Justice League. Who else recently, Manny?
It's too early for me. Don't ask me that question. I'm not. I don't know. There's a lot.
It's a lot, guys. Check out the channel and the content, and of course the podcast network. If you don't do or can't do YouTube at work, but can do Spotify, Apple, Google's, SoundCloud, we're all there as well. All free. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Manny, where can people find you at online?
Find me on Twitter at LRM_Emmanuel, talking mad crap about Ant Snarnoff. And I'm on board 100% with release the Ayer cut. I have to add that in. You don't give Snyder his movie and then not give Ayer a chance to do something what I think is probably would have been a whole lot better. Just the differences between what they ended up giving us with Whedon and then with Snyder shows that probably Ayer had a good movie there, because I'm a fan of his films, and I would love to see what his vision was for the Suicide Squad, because it's probably 100 times better than the crap we got. So you can find me there advocating for that, and you can also find me on Instagram at riddlemethis_510.
Yeah, I would wager that Ayer would need less money to finish his film too. I would wager.
And it's not going to be 4 hours long.
Yeah.
In the words of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, the bell cannot be unrung.
Oh God, no!
You guys have unleashed a monster.
That mouse has his cookie.
Yeah, the mouse has his
guess
cookie.
what?
A glass of milk. It's their own fault, and they're going to keep hearing things like this. And they talk about letting filmmakers. She was talking about letting filmmakers, giving it back to the hands of the filmmakers. Well, yeah, give it back to Ayer. Let him just show us exactly what he wanted in his cut.
Yeah,
I would have go as far as to say as I would have preferred them to release that cut than the Snyder cut.
You know what's gonna happen, right? There's gonna be some contractual changes when these directors start signing up for movies that are going to limit the ability to go back and do something like this. I think studios are going to do that.
I know we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
But the main point, I think, is the reason they don't want to do it is they don't want to continue to feel stupid. Because because overall the consensus is this is a way better movie. Yeah. Not to say it's a blockbuster, it's
or a masterpiece or anything.
Right, but it was like I gave it a B. It was like, what? Who decided this wasn't a good idea? And so if you release the Ayer cut, and then that was a good movie.
Yeah, or better at least. Yeah.
How does Warner Brothers look now?
Yeah, that's a good point. And kind of like what Cam said on the Cantina about some EU and Star Wars Legends stuff, which you guys can check out, like I said, on the YouTube channel and the podcast network. It's interesting, man, but we'll have to talk about it more later. Yep. You guys find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching now. Now we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.